Hey, Coach. Second time around in a short window with Montreal. What do you think was the biggest lesson you took from the loss at SI Stadium about a month ago?
Um, Look, it was a game very early in the season. It was a game of moments. We started well, and they were able to get into our box, and they get the penalty. Obviously, referee goes to look at it. VAR um, told him to go look. He decided that in that moment he was sticking with the original decision. Obviously, then we go down 1-0 early. We pushed the game pretty good for the rest of the first half. Obviously, with their man marking, it's a different kind of game at that time. And then right before half, we give away the free kick over on the side where Wiki crosses and it goes all the way through. And so it was a weird game. Obviously, as like we do always, we looked at it and talked about the things that needed to be better on the day. But at this point, that is long behind us. We've learned in a good way. We've improved, and we're excited now for another chance to go there tomorrow and see where we are.
Next, go to Christian Arnold.
Hey, Michael, appreciate the time. I'm curious in terms of sort of the mentality of the team the last couple weeks. You have had a couple good games, including the last regular season game against Miami. But to get back to that point, you guys went through a little bit of a stretch where things maybe weren't going your way. I'm kind of curious in terms of sort of coaching, your first time coaching at this level, and for a lot of the guys on your team, some of them are very young. This is their first time going through a situation like this at this level as well. What was the process like to keep them from maybe getting too down on themselves during that stretch, or making sure they kind of saw and took away the lessons that they needed to? And I'm also kind of curious, was there anything that you kind of looked back on your time as a player and remembered, hey, my coach did this, and it really helped me, especially when I was young and trying to learn the game at a really tough level?
Yeah, we were steady, very steady, very even. As a staff, we tried to set the right tone, to set a good and positive tone. The leadership in the group was really really strong as well, and we looked closely at things and made sure that everybody saw all of the things that were going in a really good direction, all of the positives. We made sure that everybody understood the the foundation that was being laid, that is being laid, and this is all part of it. Early in a season with a new team, with a young team, the part of continuing to grow, continuing to strengthen our identity, to understand who we are, how we want to play. Like, that is, every team goes through that, and every player then has to understand that if we're going to if we're going to really be a different kind of team, a special team in the end, then we the part of being able to build something that can hold up in the toughest moments, that can endure, that part, that takes time. You don't snap your fingers and have that magically appear. And so again, we were honest with ourselves always, but also steady and positive to make sure that everybody felt good, feels good about the direction that we're going, because there's a lot of really good things there.
Next, go to James.
Thanks, Michael. By now, we know that your team is not going to alter the approach to any given match depending on who the opponent is. But this Montreal team is going to have a new manager for this match. Just what are the challenges of playing against a team that is going to be under new leadership, even if it is in the interim, like this one coming on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest challenge is that, and it's just reality, is that we don't know we don't know how they're going to play. We don't know who's going to play in every case. You know, there's no last game to look back on. There's no ability to really then understand, okay, here are some of the things that they like to do. Here are some of the things that they're good at. Here are some of the trends. Like, we're going there, and obviously we have a good understanding of who their important players are. We made sure that we gave a quick refresher on that this morning to make sure that we understand again some of the individuals. But in the end, it's anybody's guess as to how they're going to play, the approach that they're going to take, and in reality, that is still the beauty of how we see the game and how we want to play, because we have our ideas, we have the things that we believe really strongly in, we have our commitment to stepping on the field and pushing the game and trying to put the game on our terms as much as possible, and we're going to be ready to do that. And obviously then within the game, we talk all the time about about being fluid, about being able to have a team full of guys that think quickly, stay connected, understand how to take in the information from the game in any moment and use it to make the best decisions and the best plays.
Next, go to Anthony.
Hey, Coach. So I want to approach this question the right way, because it's not meant as like to create any kind of tension. But last season, Eric Maxime Choupo-Moting, 17 goal scorer. You made the decision to go with Julian Hall early in the season in the 9 or the striker position. He's been incredibly successful. How has it been to balance such a successful striker statistically last season with such a young player this season that's doing so well? How has that been, managing those two players and managing their minutes in the season where you know both of them can produce for you?
Yeah, look, I'm really lucky that well, let me start over. We are really lucky to have two strikers that can play at such a high level. And so the part of, again, building a team, creating an environment where there is real competition every day, where we are challenging every single player and the group to take our ideas, to bring them to life, to be able to execute them better, to be able to sustain it all for longer periods of time. Like, that's what we set out to do every single day. And the group has responded in such a positive way. Obviously, at the beginning of the season, we felt like coming out of preseason that given the way that we want to play, given how aggressive we want to be, that Julian deserved that first chance as we started the season, and obviously he has done very well. And you guys have heard me say many times that yes, the goals, the assists, his ability to help us be a dangerous attacking team, that part has been really good, and we're really excited by that. But it is his work against the ball as well. It's how much he leads our press, how much he sprints, how much he chases, how aggressive he is, how he's able to come from top down and really make things difficult on other teams' midfielders. And so Julian's had a really good start to the season and has been a really complete striker for us. Obviously, Chupo and his quality and his experience and his personality speak for itself. He is such a good player and such a good teammate and such a good leader. And so even at the beginning of the season, when for sure it has not gone exactly the way that he would have wanted or he has hoped in every moment, his leadership and his presence and his commitment to the team has been incredible. And so we are going to, continue to push both of them. We're going to continue to find ways that we can take advantage of both of their qualities and their profiles. Chupo has so much to give still, and we're going to continue to count on him in big ways.
Everyone, we have time for 2 more questions. Coach, first go to Christian and then finish up with Sean. Christian, you have the floor.
Coach, I just kind of wanted to follow up. You were talking about Julian. I'm just curious, having been around the game and seen MLS grow so much, I'm curious to get your insight into just how much you've seen sort of the development process for MLS clubs grow and the ability of player they've been able to develop, Julian being a prime example of that. I'm curious to kind of get your insight to see how much it's grown since you started and to now kind of being a part of it as the head coach here in New York.
Yeah, I mean, look, it generally speaking, I can speak about things from a broader perspective or from a league perspective in more general ways, right? And what does that mean? It means that for sure the infrastructure that is in place now is much better than it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. You guys have heard me say, when I was a young player playing for the Metro Stars, there was no second team, there was no reserve league, there was no academy. And so we were, at that time, my dad would find games on Sunday morning for the guys who didn't play on Saturday night against, could be local universities. It could be, other teams in the area that were looking for games, other teams coming through. And so, look, he made sure that the guys who weren't playing with the first 11 regularly were still getting minutes and still getting opportunities to improve, but it wasn't in the structured way that it is now. Now, when you look, what do you see? You see, MLS Next Pro. You see, just about every team in the league that has a second team that competes at that level. Every club has a real academy in place. You have MLS Next. You have all of the important competitions and events that go with that, and so there's a real pathway for young players in this country to grow and develop and to continue to move themselves along. When we speak more specifically then about Julian or Audrey or Matty Dos Santos or Tanner, like any of these guys, then at that point you have to give huge credit to the people at Red Bull who have played a huge part in their growth and their development. I mean, these guys were all, Tanner came a little at a slightly older age, but Julian and Audrey and Maddie, like they were here at really young ages, and they moved through our entire system. And so the coaches and the people who played such a role in their journey, they deserve huge credit. And so you guys, again, have heard me say this, we as a club, we are really proud of the players that they are, the young men that they are, and we're going to continue to try to push them so that we can make sure this isn't the end.
And we'll finish with Sean.
Good afternoon, Michael. I think when you last spoke, you said Rold Mitchell was doing fine initially. Do you have a clear update on him? And also, is Justin Shea still weeks away at this point?
Rold is doing pretty well. Rold is working through some different things with our medical staff. He was on the field a little bit today. So again, nothing serious at all. Obviously, whenever there's a situation like that, you always the first thought is always just making sure that both players are okay. So there were no serious or lingering effects for Rold. We'll again see where he is over the next day or two and get him back with the group pretty quickly. Justin is still going to need a few more weeks. That was a slightly more long-term injury, and so he is also back on the field, doing well. But we're going to make sure that we give him the time so that he is strong and 100%.